Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a massive shift in how software gets made. We're not just talking about AI that helps you code. We're talking about AI that builds the entire app for you straight from an idea. I mean, really think about that for a second. What if building an app was as simple as just describing it? For the longest time, that idea felt like total science fiction, but we are right on the cusp of it becoming reality, thanks to a whole new generation of AI tools that are completely changing the game. So what we're really talking about here is a huge shift in thinking. For the last couple of years, we've gotten used to AI as a co-pilot, right? Tools like GitHub Copilot that sit next to you and suggest code. That's super helpful. But what we're seeing now is AI as the pilot. You give it the destination, your idea, and it flies the plane. It handles the user interface, the backend logic, the database, everything. It turns your concept, your vibe, into a working app in minutes. Okay, before we get any deeper, let's just tackle the two biggest questions that always come up. First, what's this going to cost me? Can I get started for free? And second, the big one. Can these things actually build real mobile apps for the app stores? So here's the good news. Pretty much every platform we're going to talk about lets you get your hands dirty without pulling out a credit card. They want you to jump in, test your ideas, and see the magic for yourself. The barrier to entry is basically zero. All right, let's break this down because free doesn't mean the same thing everywhere. With Firebase Studio, access to the tool itself is free, but you'll have to pay for the Google Cloud services your app uses. That makes sense. But for most of the others, you get a kind of allowance. Lovable gives you monthly credits, Bolt gives you daily tokens, Base 40 gives you a number of messages. They're all different currencies for the same thing, how much you can ask the AI to do. The key is figuring out which model works for you so you don't get a surprise bill when you're deep in the creative zone. And now for the million-dollar question, right? A web app is cool, but for so many founders and creators, the real dream is getting an app onto people's phones, into the Apple App Store and Google Play. So, can these AI builders actually do it? Yes, they can. And some are better at it than others right now. Appsy is a real standout here. It was built from the ground up to be mobile first. It even helps you publish directly to the stores. Then you've got Bolt.new, which can create apps using React Native, a really popular framework. Firebase Studio hooks right into Android and Flutter. And what's really exciting is that this is just the beginning. Huge players like GitHub, Spark, and Lovable have native mobile apps on their official roadmaps, so you know it's a huge priority for the entire space. To really get a feel for how powerful these platforms can be, let's zoom in on one. The source material highlights one tool in particular as a connectivity champion because of its sheer flexibility and functionality. So let's spend a few minutes doing a deep dive into lovable.dev. You gotta love a mission statement that just gets right to the point. They want to democratize software development. That's a powerful phrase. It means taking full-stack development, the front end, the back end, the whole shebang, that usually takes years to master, and making it accessible to anyone who can just clearly describe what they want to build. And their whole workflow is built around that mission. It's so intuitive. You start with your idea, your prompt. The AI goes to work and generates the entire application. Then you get this cool Figma-like editor to visually tweak things until they're just right. But look at that fourth step. Integrate anything. According to the source, this is Lovable's superpower. Think about it, right? A modern app is never an island. It needs to process payments, send emails, pull in data, talk to other services. Lovable is designed to be the central hub for all of that, connecting to the tools you're probably already using, aiming to make all that messy custom integration work just disappear. And this slide, wow, it just lays it all out. But don't just see a list of logos. Think about what this means. You can build a new SaaS product, and boom, Stripe and PayPal are right there for payments. You want to build a tool with cutting-edge AI? No problem. It hooks directly into OpenAI and Google Image. You need to automate things for your business? It connects to Zapier and Slack. But the real kicker, the absolute game changer, is that last bullet point. The ability to connect to any other API. That means you're not locked into their world. It's a platform that's built to grow with you, no matter what tools your business depends on. So who's actually using all this power? Well, this breakdown is fascinating. You see, a big chunk, 30%, are startups building their minimum viable product, their MVP. They're getting their core idea to market faster than ever before. But look at this. A combined 45%, almost half, are for internal tools and automation workflows. These are companies building custom solutions to make their own teams more productive, connecting their existing systems without having to pull their main engineering team off of core products. That is a massive use case. Okay, so let's be real. With all that power, what's the catch? There's always a trade-off, right? The pros are huge. Incredible flexibility, full ownership of your code through GitHub, and a clear vision for the future. The main thing to watch out for is that credit-based pricing. When you're in a creative flow, testing and changing things over and over, those credits can add up. It's a common model in this space, and it just means you have to be mindful of your usage, especially as you scale up your team. All right, so we've gone deep on Lovable, we've looked at the free tiers, and we've talked mobile. Let's pull back out. Because the big question remains, how do you pick the right tool for your project? So let's say you're a founder or a product manager. You've got the big idea, but maybe not the coding background. What do you need? You need speed, pure and simple. You need to get a prototype, an MVP, into people's hands fast. The source suggests looking at Bolt.new for just raw speed from idea to app, v0.dev if you're focused on a great web interface, and of course Appsy if your idea is mobile from day one. Okay, now let's flip the script. What if you are a developer, or you're leading a technical team? Your needs are totally different, right? You're thinking about owning the code, about security, about scalability, and how this fits into your professional workflow. In that case, you're going to look at tools like GitHub Spark because it lives right inside the ecosystem you already use, or Firebase Studio if you're a Google Cloud shop, and Replit for its really powerful enterprise-grade features. And this quote right here, this really nails the future of all of this. It's not about no-code versus pro-code anymore. That's old thinking. The gap is closing. The developer escape hatch, that ability to start simple with AI, but then export the actual code for a professional developer to take over, is becoming a standard feature. It's about empowering everyone to start while making sure there's always a path to grow. So, look, the technical barrier to creating software, it's been shattered. It's gone. The tools are here, they're getting more powerful by the day, and as we've seen, they're incredibly accessible. The only part of the equation that's left is you. It's your imagination, your idea. So the real question isn't whether the AI can build the app anymore. It's what are you gonna build?